And like Pedro Neto, he's a good player. I think he's a good player. I'm not gonna say he's a great player, but he's a good player. Last year he had 2 goals, which is very poor, but he was able to contribute with 9 assists. So you think, and it's like I'm really beginning to root for Chelsea, because I hope these contracts and these players work out, because if not, it's going to be a long one for Chelsea. The start of a new Premier League season, and Chelsea doing Chelsea things, spending 60 million on Pedro Neto. Without wasting any more time, guys, let's react to Pedro Neto and let's see what he brings to this Chelsea team. Now, I said Chelsea doing Chelsea things because we all know Chelsea, especially over the past, I would say, 2 years, especially since Todd Boehly took over the team, they've been spending a ridiculous amount of money on players. Great finish here from Neto. Like here again, I don't mean I'm gonna carry my train of thought, but the way he just takes the ball inside very well, cuts it in, puts the ball behind the net perfectly, goalkeeper's near post, perfect finish. But as I was saying, they've been spending a lot of money on players, and it's kind of not yet been proven to be the right strategy or the right thing to do for long-term success. It's not only the fact that they've spent the money on all of these players, but it's also the fact that they've given all of these players that they spent a ridiculous amount of money on very long contracts. I'm talking about contracts that span 6-7 years, and it's like no successful team in football has ever done that. Spent this much amount of money and then signed contracts that long, because what's going to end up happening is when you want to offload. Let me just pause this video here for a second. What's going to end up happening for Chelsea is when you want to offload these players, when you want to, for example, move on or try and rebuild from these players, you won't be able to, because it's going to be very hard to offload these contracts to another team. It's also going to be very hard, for example, if a player isn't performing, for you to continue to pay their wages. It's like, I hope Chelsea are very much aware that this has to work for them, or it's going to be a massive disaster. You're spending a ridiculous amount of money on this place. And I don't think money is a problem for Chelsea at this point, but you're spending a ridiculous amount of money on this place, and then these contracts that you're giving them are extremely inflated. And like Pedro Neto, he's a good player. I think he's a good player. I'm not going to say he's a great player, but he's a good player. Last year he had 2 goals, which is very poor, but he was able to contribute with 9 assists. So you think, maybe in a more offensive team, he's probably going to be able to improve his output. But then it's like the old saying is like, if his output isn't that good, even at Wolves, you're going to bring him in for 60 million euros, the reported fee. That's too much money for Pedro Neto. Yes, the market is inflated, but also you're going out of your way to make these bad deals. But we'll carry on. Okay, Neto is a good player. He's good on a 1-on-1. He's fast. He can play on the left. You can play him on the left. You can play him on the right. He's got across on him. Again, last year, even in a defensive, pragmatic team like Wolves, he was able to record 9 assists, which is, not to be ignored. But still, 60 million for him? And it's like, I'm really beginning to root for Chelsea, because I hope these contracts and these players work out, because if not, it's going to be a long one for Chelsea. It's going to be so long. All of these players you have on the books, all of these players with inflated contracts, it's like the difference between Chelsea's contract length and the amount of players that they have compared to the second team in the Premier League. It's like they're so far ahead, it's actually stupid. And you look at and then, for example, you end up looking at teams like a Real Madrid, a Man City, a Bayern Munich, a Juventus, or an Inter Milan, teams that have been able to be successful in recent history. No one has adopted this strategy. No one has adopted this strategy. And it's like, yes, of course, you can always be the first to do something, but no one has adopted this strategy, because just on paper, in theory, doesn't make a lot of sense. But again, this is what I'm saying. I hope it works out for Chelsea, because otherwise things aren't looking very good for the future of their team. And this also makes it even harder for you to grow your academy talent, and then it's going to put a lot of your academy talent off playing for this team. Because look at a player like Gallagher. Like, it doesn't matter if you're a good player, if you're Premier League proven. It's like Chelsea can just go on and sign someone else like an Enzo Fernandez or Caicedo, and then get rid of you. So it's like, what type of loyalty is there towards your academy? Why would any of these younger players want to stay in your academy? They'll rather go to a team like Benfica or Ajax or even Manchester United, where they know they'll get minutes, and they'll at least be a pathway for them to get into the first team. Because at Chelsea right now, there isn't really a pathway for the academy players to blossom into the first team, which is not really a place you want to be as a football club. This is not the NBA or the NFL where you can just go to a draft and get players. A lot of the best young players that teams go on to get, they develop within the team. This is a great finish actually from Pedro Neto. Takes it inside, kind of relentless here to win the ball back. Good finish. And you know, my job here is not to chastise Pedro Neto, because again, after the season we can criticize him, but so far there's nothing really to criticize him on. But I think the best thing to do would actually to be quite supportive of him. But I'm not really criticizing Pedro Neto here. I think he's a good player. I've said this before. Yes, his goals last season weren't anything impressive, but again, he's playing for Wolves, and he also had 9 assists to go with that. So just overall, he had 11. He had double digits in goal contributions. That's 11 goal contributions last season. But it's just Chelsea's bad business management of the team. It's Chelsea's just overall bad business management of the team. Whether it is signing players, whether it is giving players contracts, whether it is developing the academy talent. It's like Chelsea, they just keep making mistake after mistake after mistake, and it's really disappointing. Touch. That went in. Neto definitely has the potential to score a lot more goals. I feel like if you put him in the team that's a bit more offensive, like Maresca starting to do with Chelsea, he can definitely become way more productive. But again, that's just like a maybe. We don't know if what he was doing at Wolves was really who he is. Probably is. But we'll see. At the end of the season, we'll give our final verdict. But anyways, guys, thank you very much for watching the video until the end, guys. You're much appreciated. Please leave a like, comment, subscribe, share, do all those things to please help me grow this channel, guys. And as per usual, I'll see you guys soon.